Hello and welcome to this Against the Storm tutorial on Hostility. As I mentioned in the introductory tutorial, this series will be covering all aspects of the gameplay, all of the various features and mechanics of the game. However, with the game still being in early access, some of these aspects may be altered slightly or greatly throughout the development period. When that happens, I plan to provide some kind of update, either with an updated tutorial video or at a minimum as a pinned comment. With that said, let's get started. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to use the save from the Let's Play series that we are currently working on. This happens to be after the end of episode 4, and we have built up quite a lot of hostility modifiers here in the game over the course of the 7 years we've been in this save. Hostility is found here, both as this little eye icon here, as well as this bar up here in the around the main controls. The hostility of the forest is measured both in tiers and in points within each tier. Each tier has an effect on various things in the game, especially the Looming Darkness Forest Mystery, which we talked about in the previous tutorial on Forest Mysteries, and which is always in the game. Every game you play has this Looming Darkness Mystery. Hostility is gained by doing various things. For example, the number of years you've played the game beyond the first year, the settlement specifically, you gain additional hostility for each year. And I believe it scales up with each subsequent year. The number of glades you open, whether they be regular glades or dangerous and forbidden glades, add points to your hostility. However, there are different amounts for each glade type. Regular glades give a base difficulty multiplier of 5 hostility points, and dangerous and forbidden glades give a base of 10. Now these numbers are multiplied by the difficulty multiplier based on the difficulty you chose when you started the game. Settler has a 1.0 difficulty multiplier. Pioneer has a 1.5 difficulty multiplier. Veteran has a 2.0 difficulty multiplier. And Viceroy has a 3.0 difficulty multiplier. Coincidentally, those happen to tie to the speed controls, but I think that's just a coincidence. So you can see here that this game we started on Pioneer has a difficulty multiplier of 1.5. So the regular glades, 5 points apiece, times 2, times 1.5 is 15 points. Dangerous and forbidden glades at 10 points each, times 5, times 1.5 is 75 points, and so on. Villagers also give additional hostility points. Each villager you have in your town gives, I believe it's a base of 2 points. And then, of course, it's multiplied by the number of villagers and the multiplier by 1.5, which gives, in this case, 49 villagers, 147 hostility. I have a lot of villagers in this town. Woodcutters also give additional hostility, on top of also being a villager. I happen to have 6 woodcutters in this town, and woodcutters have a base hostility of 8 points. So 6 times 8 times 1.5 is 72. There are also other effects that can give additional hostility or take away additional hostility. That's there under Others, Negative, and Positive. Some of those effects are a currently working glade event, such as the Rain Spirit Totem, and a finished, converted glade effect, such as the Rain Spirit Totem. While this is being worked, the Rage of the Forest is in effect, and that increases temporarily hostility by 150 points, shown here. Once it's finished, it will decrease hostility by 50 points, which would be in the final line displayed here. I don't remember where that 15 points shown there comes from, but there are other effects that can show in that number, depending on where you're at in the game, what you have available to you, and other components of the game. Hearths are a positive effect on the hostility of the forest. The hearth must be staffed and fueled in order for it to count. Hearths give 30 points, which I believe is also multiplied by 1.5. So in fact, they give 20 points base times 1.5 apiece. The Queen's Impatience, which is this bar down here, which will be covered in a future tutorial, the number of whole points you have in Queen's Impatience will reduce the hostility as well. So for this, you round down always. So until we cross that threshold onto 6.0 or higher, this counts as 5 points. 5 times 15 is 75. That is also affected by the 1.5x multiplier, so it's 5 times 10 times 1.5. And then, as I mentioned, the other positives as well there. As I said at the very beginning, hostility greatly affects the Looming Darkness Forest Mystery. Each level your hostility is at, starting at 0, so in this case it would be 5 levels of applied Looming Darkness, will subtract your global resolve by 4 points per level. So if I were to go into the storm with this current hostility level, each one of my villagers would lose 20 resolve. That can be a devastating hit on a game once you have gone far enough into the game to have a high hostility, whether that be through effects or due to the higher multipliers applied at the higher difficulty levels. So effects like this one are best to have dealt with during the drizzle or the clearance to make sure that they have been finished by the time the storm starts. Otherwise, you will go into the storm with a very heavy global resolve debuff, and some of your characters may choose to leave. That concludes the component of hostility. Hostility's effects. Hostility goes to 100 per level. So 100 points through level 0 takes you to level 1. 100 points through level 1 takes you to level 2. And so on. There are hard caps on the hostility level based on the difficulty you are playing. Those can be found in the tooltip for each difficulty level in the embarkation screen. You can see the embarkation tutorial that I did previous to this one to see those additional limits. This concludes the hostility tutorial. Thank you for watching. Check out the other tutorials in this list, and also check out the concurrently running Let's Play series, where I discuss these and the other tutorial content in a more practical, hands-on way while playing through the games and some various settlements. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.